So last week I was at the Microsoft Excel World Championships in Las Vegas, and I had the honor of commentating the event with my co-host Tim Hang. With about a minute left in the final, I said this.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see a line chart of those lead changes, or really place changes over time. That'd be kind of cool to see.
That's right.
Because there's been a lot of them, and we haven't even caught them all.
So this is the chart that I was envisioning. Now the challenge is that we don't have the data of how the scores changed throughout the 40-minute final. So I'm first going to explain how to scrape the data from the video using AI. We'll then clean the data in Excel and finally create the chart. So here I have the video and I've loaded it into video editing software. I use a software called Camtasia, but you can really use any video editing software for this. And I just did a quick screen recording off of YouTube to get the video, but of course you might have a different source for your video. And the first thing we want to do is crop down the video for just the data that we need. So you can see there's a lot of data, a lot of text on this video, and we really only need the scoreboard that's right up here in the top right corner. And this scoreboard appears for most of the video. I say most of the video because if we scrub through here, we'll notice there are points where we have some player eliminations and we cut down to this on-camera video of our players and our MC. So in that case, we won't see the scoreboard, but that's okay. We'll just fill in the gaps there that we get in the data set later on. So to crop this, I'm first going to figure out the size of the scoreboard. And to do that, I'm going to change the zoom here to 100%. I'm going to pan over to that scoreboard. So I now have 100% pixels. I'm going to use a screen capture tool called Snagit, which is also made by the same company, TechSmith, that makes Camtasia. And here I just want to see the screen size, or really the area, or the dimensions, I should say, of this area here. So it's 287 by 453, approximately somewhere around there. We'll say 287 by 447. So I'm going to escape out of that. I don't actually need that. But what I'm going to do now is go here and change the project settings to that custom size. So we'll go here to a custom size and we'll say the width is 287 and that was 447. And then we'll apply that. So now we have a much smaller video. We'll just go ahead and fit it here. And we just need to take the video, there we go. We're gonna take the video and move it over so that only the scoreboard fits in that section. We're gonna move it up just a tiny bit here. So now we've essentially created a video with just the scoreboard only. We also don't need audio, so I'm gonna quickly silence the audio here, and then we'll go ahead and render the video. So in Camtasia, you go up and export and render the video, and that gives us this MP4 video, again with just that scoreboard section here. So to get the data from the video, I had a pretty extensive conversation with ChatGPT on the best approach, and this is initially what we came up with here, which is to scan the video, detect for changes in the frames, and then use OCR to get the data from all of the images and put that into a CSV file. And this will all be done using Python. And of course, ChatGPT gave me everything I'd need to run the Python scripts, including the scripts themselves. Now I had a bit of trouble with it detecting changes while splitting the frames, so I split this into two steps. And the first step is this script here, which will just extract a frame for the video, or a screenshot of the video for every single second in the video. And this is the Python code that I've saved to my computer. I'm using Visual Studio Code, but you could use any text editor for this and just save the script to your computer. And then to run it, once you have Python set up and installed, you just open a command prompt window and put in py and then the name of the file and hit enter, and that will run the script. And the results are output to this folder, which is an image for each second of the video. So we can see that here. And this was a 40-minute final, so we have 2,400 frames. We'll actually have a few less than that. We started the recording a little late, but we'll fill that data in later. Now the next step was to extract the text from each of these images. And there's a few different options for that. The first was using an OCR tool and running that locally. And ChatGPT gave some recommendations on which tool we could use. I did try these, and the advantage here is that they run locally and they're also free, and they should run pretty fast. However, I didn't get very accurate results. There were a lot of errors in the data, and I think one reason for that might be just the font style that's used here. It's kind of an eSports style font that's used on the scoreboard, and it might be hard for the OCR tools to interpret it. And so the next option was to use ChatGPT to extract the data from each image. And this uses OpenAI's API, and returns all of the data to a CSV file. So it essentially runs a prompt every single time. You can see the prompt that's written here. It tells it that there's 2 columns in the image and how to return those in a JSON file, and then some additional rules down here. And these rules handle the scenario where no scoreboard is visible because we have the presenter on camera. Now there is a cost to this. Here's the API usage page, and I ran 2,400 calls, and this cost $2.20. So really pretty inexpensive compared to if you took the time to look through all of these images manually and extract the data. And I also wanted to mention that Google's Gemini has some very generous free plans for their API. It might just take a little bit longer, but you can probably get it all done for free. And so here is the data. This is a CSV file. I saved it as an Excel file. And if we scroll down here, we'll start to see some scores populate as we move our way through the finals. So now that we have the data, we need to clean it up and prepare it for reporting. So the first thing I'm going to do is just convert this to an Excel table. So insert table or Control T. And we want to do some general kind of gut checks on the data. First thing is the name. So if we hit the filter drop down here, you could see we have some duplicates of the names. Again, ChatGPT is also using OCR or optical character recognition to go through this data and parse it, and sometimes it gets the names wrong. So there's a few ways we could fix this. I'm just going to, over here to the right of the table, I'm going to use the unique function. So we'll say equals unique, we'll tab into that, and we'll just get a list of unique values from the name column. And then actually I also want to sort this, so I'm going to wrap this in the sort function, close parentheses, and now it's very easy to see where those duplicates are. And then I'm just going to manually copy paste values, the correct values to the right. So this is Kobe's correct name, so we'll just paste values on all of those rows there. Same thing here with Diarmid, this is the correct spelling. And then once we have that, we can look up the original name. So we'll use XLOOKUP to look up the original name here in this range over here, hit F4 on that, comma, this will be our return range here, again, F4, and that will give us a new column with the corrected name, because we are essentially using the XLOOKUP to replace the original name with the corrected name. And we'll go ahead and rename that column as well. And the other thing I want to fix is these times. These timestamps are in minutes and they need to be in seconds. And we also want to reverse it because this was a 40-minute final counting down from 40 minutes. So we want to start at 40 minutes. So right here I'm going to say equals, I'm going to type in 2400 because there's 2400 seconds, 40 times 60, minus, and then open parentheses. We're going to take the timestamp and multiply that by 60 and then multiply that by 24 to get the number of seconds instead of minutes. Close parentheses and hit enter, and that will spill down this result here, and this actually should be a general format or a number format, and then we will see that in the number of seconds. Now we also have gaps in our data when we had on-camera shots like this and we don't see the scoreboard. So in order to fix this, what I'm going to do is I added this data tab over here, and this is going to contain a list of all of the seconds and name combinations. So here I have this table, and all I'm going to do is say equals, I'm going to select this first row here and then subtract 1 because we're counting down, so that'd be the next second. And I'm also going to say equals and then just select this first name right here. And I'm going to take these two formulas, I'm going to hit Control C to copy, and I'm going to paste it all the way down. So up here in the name box, I'm going to say B and 28813. This is the total number of rows that I need. Hold Shift and hit Enter, and that will select all the way down. And I'm going to hit Control V to paste that formula all the way down. And that's just going to repeat what it sees above. So we're going to get all the names listed, repeating over and over again. And we're going to get a countdown on our seconds as well, all the way to 0. And next we need to populate the score column for all the rows. So we're going to get that data, of course, from our original data over here in this column D. And for that, I'm going to use an XLOOKUP. So I'm just going to paste it in here so you don't have to watch me write it. But essentially, we're looking up the seconds and the names. So we're concatenating those together in the table 1 seconds and correct name columns, and returning the score. And if we don't find anything, it's going to return a blank. So we'll go ahead and enter. And since this is doing about 30,000 lookups, it's going to take a few seconds to calculate. And once it's done, we'll see our scores here. Now, of course, they all start at zeros, but if we scroll down, we'll see some scores being populated. And I forgot that our recording actually starts 9 seconds late. So I changed this to 2391, which is 9 seconds less than 2400. And this creates gaps in our data. We have a gap here at the top, And as we scroll down, we'll see some scores down here, but right here, we also have another gap. And again, this is where we are not seeing the scoreboard on the screen. So we need to fill these gaps. And one little pro tip here, since the score column is now not going to change, I'm gonna select all, hit Control-C and Control-Shift-V to paste values, so we don't have this formula in here that recalculates every time we add columns or make changes. So I've added this score filled column, and I'm gonna paste my formula in here and I'll explain it. So what this is saying if the score in this column is blank and this cell is blank, then we're going to use this filter function. And we're essentially going to filter down for when column C is not blank and column B is equal to the name in this row. So that's gonna give us an array of everything below that's not blank, or that we have a score for. And then we're going to use the take function to just take or return the first row from that array. And if the score here is not blank, then we're just gonna return the score from the score column. So we'll go ahead and hit enter on that. Again, it's gonna take a few seconds to calculate. And now if we scroll down here, we can see that we start to get some scores, and where we had gaps before, we have all of those gaps filled in with scores. And this is gonna matter for the next step, which is creating our chart. So creating our chart is probably the easiest step here. We're going to use a pivot table and pivot chart for this. And before we do that, I should also mention that I added a time column here, which is the formatted time. I just took the number of seconds, divided it by 86,400, which is the number of seconds in a day, and formatted as minutes and seconds. So we're gonna go insert here and then choose pivot table. And we're gonna put that on a new worksheet. And I'm going to take the time and put it in the rows area. Oops, there we go, time in the rows area. We're going to take the name and put it across the top in the columns area. And then the score, the final filled score, we're going to put that in the values area. And then I also want to sort this descending. So we have the higher number or higher time at the top. And then with this, we're going to insert a pivot chart. So we'll go over here, insert pivot chart, and we're going to use a line chart. And we'll go ahead and say, okay. And we actually have our final chart here. We just need to format it. So I'm first going to move it over so we have some space to work with. And of course, if you're on a larger monitor, you can make this even bigger, but we'll go ahead and make the chart much bigger so it's just a bit easier to read and work with. So the first thing I did to clean up this chart is just right click here and hide all of these buttons. We don't need any of those. We also don't need the legend here, so we might need to close this down. Here we go, and we'll see this menu. We don't need the legend either. And then if you just select the plot area, I'm just gonna make this a little narrower because I did add the player names over here on the right side. But I want the player names to line up with where the lines end. So one trick for that is you can select the line here, and then if you try and select just the farthest right point here, you can then go up here and add the data label. So we're gonna add the data label to the right. And right now we'll just see the points. If we select that and right click it and choose Format Data Labels, I'm gonna click off that. I'm going to click just this data label here, and we can see that we can add the series name, which will be the player's name. And then we also have the value, and those are comma separated. So we have the player name and the score. And you just need to repeat that process for each player. So it is a little bit of manual setup work here. And the other thing I did was change the colors of the line. So I left the top 3 players with colors, but I changed all of the other players to just a gray color to really make those top 3 stand out. Now, if you get this message, you can just say yes here. Usually only takes a second or two to apply that formatting. And again, you just need to repeat that for all the other players. And then a few other minor cleanup things. I also removed the vertical axis here, so just delete that. The grid lines didn't need those either, so delete those. And then down here for the horizontal axis, you can go over here and under labels, the interval is currently set to automatic, but there's a lot of times down there. So if you set this to 300 seconds, which is 5 minutes, then we get these nice 5-minute increments on the timeline. And then finally, I applied a darker theme by just changing the background here, just selecting the entire chart. On the Format tab, you can just fill the entire chart. I use this dark gray color, and did some final formatting to the player names, including highlighting the winner, which was my friend Dearmid Early, with an absolutely incredible performance. If you haven't seen the finals yet or the World Championship at all, I'll link up the recording to the YouTube live below. And I created this chart to tell the story of that victory, but also all the other drama that unfolded in the finals. There was last second place changes and a lot of different place changes here in the last few minutes. So it was a lot of fun to watch, and I was honored to be a part of it this year. And we can also use AI to create the chart. Here I've used the canvas feature in Gemini to generate the chart in just a few seconds, and it even has this nice hover effect with the card. And if you want to learn more on how to create charts like this with AI, then check out my last video. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and consider subscribing. Thanks again for watching, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.